What if the glass of milk you were told to drink for strong bones is actually harming your health? For decades, we've been taught that dairy is an essential part of a healthy diet, but the truth is, for many people, dairy is a hidden driver of inflammation, digestive issues, and chronic disease. Let's break this down. Number 1. Most adults are lactose intolerant. Most people don't realize that the ability to digest milk is not something we are born to carry for life. In fact, about 65% of the global population loses the enzyme lactase, the key for breaking down lactose, the sugar found in milk, after early childhood. For thousands of years, humans didn't consume dairy beyond infancy because it was unnecessary. Yet today, milk is marketed as a health food, and millions of people drink it daily without understanding the hidden cost. When your body lacks lactase, undigested lactose travels into the colon where bacteria ferment it, producing gas, bloating, cramps, and diarrhea. This is called lactose intolerance, and while some people experience obvious symptoms, others don't make the connection between their discomfort and the dairy in their diet. Instead, they live with chronic digestive upset, fatigue, and even skin issues without suspecting milk as the culprit. What's even more concerning is that lactose intolerance isn't rare or unusual. It's actually the human default. Only certain populations, due to genetic adaptation, have developed the ability to digest lactose into adulthood. For most of the world, however, dairy is a mismatched food, and when it's pushed as essential for health, it leads people to suffer silently from symptoms they could easily avoid. Eliminating dairy often results in dramatic improvements in digestion, energy, and overall well-being. Once you remove it, your body doesn't have to battle the constant irritation that comes from trying to process something it was never designed to handle in the first place. This isn't about restriction. It's about aligning with your biology. When you listen to your body and honor its signals, you give it space to heal, and you begin to discover just how much better you can feel without dairy weighing you down. Number 2. Dairy proteins like casein and whey can trigger immune responses even if you're someone who doesn't experience obvious lactose intolerance. Dairy can still have a powerful and damaging effect on your body because of the proteins it contains. The two main proteins in dairy, casein and whey, are common triggers for immune reactions in many people. When you consume these proteins, your immune system may see them as foreign invaders and launch an attack, leading to chronic low-grade inflammation. This immune response doesn't always show up as digestive discomfort. It can manifest in other ways like acne, eczema, sinus congestion, migraines, joint pain, or even flare-ups of autoimmune conditions. For some individuals, these proteins irritate the gut lining, making it more permeable, a phenomenon often referred to as leaky gut. When the gut barrier is compromised, undigested food particles and toxins can leak into the bloodstream, triggering even more immune activity and systemic inflammation. Over time, this cycle can contribute to or worsen chronic diseases. What's more alarming is that many people are completely unaware that dairy could be the root cause of their symptoms because the effects can be subtle and delayed. You may drink a glass of milk today and experience a headache, skin breakout, or fatigue 2 days later, never suspecting the connection. This makes dairy sensitivity one of the most overlooked contributors to poor health. By removing dairy from your diet, you take away this hidden irritant, giving your immune system a chance to calm down and your gut lining a chance to heal. Many people notice clearer skin, fewer sinus issues, and reduced joint pain within weeks of cutting out dairy. The body was never designed to process the proteins in cow's milk, and once you stop forcing it to, the results can feel like a breakthrough in your health and energy. Number 3. High dairy consumption is linked to weaker bones. For decades, we've been told that dairy is essential for strong bones and preventing osteoporosis, but the truth is far more complex and even counterintuitive. Research shows that countries with the highest dairy consumption, like the United States and those in Northern Europe, also have some of the highest rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures. This paradox challenges the idea that drinking milk automatically builds bone strength. One reason is that dairy creates an acidic environment in the body. To neutralize this acidity, your body may pull alkaline minerals like calcium from your bones, weakening them over time instead of strengthening them. This process can silently erode bone health, despite a high intake of calcium from dairy. Additionally, dairy's calcium is not as bioavailable as many people assume, meaning your body doesn't always absorb and utilize it effectively. Green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, and certain fish provide calcium in forms that are easier for the body to process and come packaged with other bone-supporting nutrients like magnesium, vitamin K, and phytonutrients. Relying on dairy for bone health is not only unnecessary, but can also be counterproductive when it's coupled with the hormonal and inflammatory effects of modern dairy products. Over time, this dependence may lead people to overlook healthier dietary and lifestyle practices that are far more effective at maintaining strong bones, such as weight-bearing exercise, adequate vitamin D levels, and a nutrient-dense diet rich in plant foods. The idea that you need milk for strong bones is one of the most successful marketing campaigns in history, but the science simply doesn't back it up. By stepping away from dairy and focusing on whole, mineral-rich foods, you can protect your bones naturally while also supporting your overall health in ways that dairy never could. Number 4. Modern dairy often contains hormones and antibiotics. Modern dairy products are a far cry from the milk our ancestors consumed. Today's dairy often comes from cows raised in industrial farming systems, where they are routinely given growth hormones and antibiotics to increase milk production and prevent disease in overcrowded conditions. These hormones, such as recombinant bovine growth hormone (RBGH), can disrupt your body's delicate hormonal balance when consumed, potentially contributing to issues like early puberty, acne, and even hormone-sensitive cancers. The antibiotics used in dairy farming don't just impact the cows, they end up in the milk and over time in your body. Consuming trace amounts of these antibiotics can damage your gut microbiome, killing off beneficial bacteria and allowing harmful strains to flourish. A disrupted microbiome is now linked to a wide range of health issues, from weakened immunity and weight gain to mood disorders and chronic inflammation. Beyond that, antibiotic overuse in animal farming contributes to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, a growing global health crisis. Even organic or hormone-free milk isn't entirely risk-free, as the proteins and sugars in milk can still have inflammatory effects on the body. Many people unknowingly suffer from these impacts because the connection between dairy and their symptoms isn't obvious. Eliminating dairy can help your gut heal, allowing beneficial bacteria to thrive again and supporting your body's natural defenses. By removing a major source of environmental hormones and antibiotic residues, you're giving your endocrine system and your immune system space to rebalance. Choosing to avoid modern dairy isn't just about personal health. It's also a stand against unsustainable farming practices that harm animals and the planet. When you break free from dairy, you protect your body from chemical exposures it was never designed to handle and open the door to more vibrant, balanced health. Number 5. Dairy is a pro-inflammatory food. Dairy is one of the most common yet overlooked sources of inflammation in the modern diet. For many people, consuming milk, cheese, or other dairy products triggers subtle immune responses that can silently fuel chronic conditions. This happens because certain proteins and hormones in dairy act as irritants to the body, setting off an inflammatory cascade. Over time, this constant low-grade inflammation doesn't just stay localized, it spreads systemically, affecting your joints, skin, gut, and even your respiratory system. People with eczema, acne, asthma, or arthritis often notice their symptoms worsen with regular dairy consumption, yet few suspect it as the root cause. The inflammatory effect of dairy can also disrupt digestion, leading to bloating, gas, and discomfort, even in individuals who aren't fully lactose intolerant. For those struggling with autoimmune conditions, dairy can act as a trigger that intensifies flare-ups and slows down the healing process. What makes this especially dangerous is how normalized dairy consumption has become. Many people eat cheese, drink milk, or consume yogurt daily without realizing these foods may be contributing to their fatigue, brain fog, or persistent aches. When dairy is removed from the diet, inflammation levels often drop dramatically within weeks. People report clearer skin, less joint pain, easier breathing, and a surprising increase in energy. The body is incredibly intelligent and resilient, but it can't heal properly while it's constantly fighting off inflammatory triggers. By eliminating dairy, you give your body a chance to reset, calm the immune system, and begin repairing the damage caused by years of irritation. This simple yet powerful shift can open the door to better health and a life free of the symptoms that once felt inevitable. Choosing to let go of dairy isn't deprivation. It's liberation from a food that may be holding you back. Number 6. Dairy is addictive due to casein. One of the most surprising truths about dairy is how addictive it can be, making it incredibly hard for people to give up even when they know it's harming their health. This isn't just about habit or comfort food, it's rooted in brain chemistry. Dairy contains a protein called casein, which, during digestion, breaks down into smaller compounds called casomorphins. These casomorphins bind to the same receptors in the brain that opiates like morphine do, triggering a mild but noticeable sense of pleasure and relaxation. This reaction creates a feedback loop in which your brain craves more of the substance that produced the reward. It explains why cheese is often the hardest food for people to eliminate. It's literally stimulating the brain's addiction pathways. Over time, this dependence makes it feel as though meals aren't satisfying without dairy, leading people to consume it daily and often in large quantities. The addictive quality of dairy is one reason it has such a strong emotional hold, being tied to comfort, nostalgia, and even stress relief. Unfortunately, while it soothes the brain temporarily, it continues to drive inflammation, gut imbalance, and hormonal disruption in the body. Breaking free from dairy's grip is not always easy in the first few weeks because the brain initially resists the absence of those feel-good signals. However, as you remove it and replace it with nutrient-rich, plant-based alternatives, the cravings begin to fade and your brain recalibrates. Soon the dependence weakens and the emotional pull disappears. People often describe a sense of liberation once they break the cycle, experiencing not only improved physical health but also mental clarity and emotional balance. Understanding the addictive nature of dairy is empowering because it allows you to recognize cravings for what they are, a temporary chemical reaction, not a genuine need, and take back control of your health.